This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Doug Smith. It's Thursday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 broadcast, our podcast. This is the podcast where you will hear the truth about what happened to everybody, possibly including yourself, during this opioid crisis. Um, I did not get. There is no we, which is me. I did not get the letters into the mail today off to Attorney General Pam Bondi recommending the three people at the FDA who are the first three that we are referring to Attorney General Bondi for consideration of criminal negligence charge. The graphics guy didn't get the stuff over to me and this morning, and so we couldn't get it printed. So I guess we're looking at hopefully Monday getting the letters into the mail to Attorney General Bondi, her chief of staff, a couple of others. And what's in front of you is part of what's going in it's 3 pages that I'm sending to Attorney General, a letter, the little document we call the FDA genocide, and the one in front of you. And the one in front of you, what got left off was the title. There's a number of reasons that we feel that criminal negligence is the proper course of action for the three people at the FDA. The main one being Dr. Rigoberta Roca. Full disclosure, we've had some interactions with Dr. Rigoberta Roca, and the bottom line is he's not just drinking the Kool-Aid and eating the dog food. Okay, he's part of the originator of the Kool-Aid. Okay, these are the people who actually literally caused the opioid crisis, and a major part of how they did it, a major reason that the opioid crisis happened is what you're looking at on the screen right in front of you. Okay, this is the science that they ignored. They ignored it, even when we pointed it out to them. Okay, they continue to ignore it. And you can't do that with science. You can't ignore parts of science. You don't. Science doesn't give you the capability of picking and choosing what science you want to believe in. That's not the way it works. Okay, the very thought that you get to pick and choose what science you want to believe in is the very definition of human arrogance. And that's what these people are. They're human and they're arrogant. And it's their arrogance. It's their arrogance that led them and allowed them to do what they did. Now, if if they were at home working on a ladder and they ignored gravity and they fell off the ladder and broke their arm and they're the only one that got hurt, well, that's what you get for ignoring gravity. But the problem here is 5 million people are dead. And they were young people. Okay? They died horrible, tortured deaths from adrenaline toxicity. Well, actually, 4 million died a tortured death from adrenaline toxicity, and 1 million died from an opioid overdose trying to get out of adrenaline toxicity. Okay? But the point is 5 million are dead. And they're dead because of the arrogance of people such as Dr. Rigoberta Roca, who is the director of anesthesiology, addiction medicine, and pain medicine at the division of the FDA called CDER, Center for Drug Evaluation and Research. And Dr. Rigoberta Roca has ignored the science that you see on the screen in front of you. And if you want to fully understand why we believe, and I believe, criminal negligence is the proper course of action for the Attorney General, for Dr. Rigoberta Roca and others, just take a moment and look at the science in front of you. Okay, let's take, for example, the research paper from June of 2020 done at the University of Tennessee, the Memphis branch, Jose Vladimir Sandoval Sierra. Beautiful name. Simple study. We've got 33 volunteers who were having, some relatively minor, dental surgery, a tooth pulled, stuff like that. But these were 33 people who were opioid naive. They'd never taken an opioid in their life. And Jose Vladimir Sandoval Sierra got them to agree to 3 DNA samples. 3 times they scraped the inside of their cheek. 1 before the procedure, and then 1 on each of the 2 follow-up visits. Okay, so he's looking, and these are people who, this is the first time they're taking opioids. They're taking opioids for pain. My guess is it was probably hydrocodone, oxycodone. And the amazing thing about this study is that after just a few doses, Sandoval Sierra and team were able to actually see the genetic damage. That's how poisonous the opioids are. Just a few doses, and you can see the genetic damage. Okay, and that's just one of the studies on the screen in front of you. Okay, the Walkman studies. Dr. Eliza Walkman at Boston Medical Center, 2014 and 2018. What she did was show that the level of methylation in the child, she's a pediatrician. She works with children with neonatal abstinence syndrome. She works with children who are exposed to opioids in utero, exposed to opioids during pregnancy, and then go into withdrawal when they're born. And what she found was that the level of methylation, the level of genetic poisoning, determined the severity of the symptoms of the baby. I mean, that should have stopped the FDA right there. That was 2014. That was 11 years ago. Okay. Nielsen, 2009, was the first investigator to find the genetic poisoning from the opioids. Okay, that was 2009. Think of the difference it would have made. Okay. So these scientific articles on the screen in front of you, okay, these are the scientific articles that are evidence of both the poisoning, the genetic damage to the DNA, and these are also the articles that are the signature disease, the disease that comes from the poisoning. Okay, and of course, the 3 that we refer to frequently are Dell, Chang, Dell and his team, Chang and his team, and Kindbaum and his team. Okay, the signature disease, what happens to you when you go into opioid withdrawal, has been well understood since 1990. Dell did his study in 1990. Chang did his study in 1990. Kindbaum did his study in 1998. It's been known since 1990 that what happens to the individual when they get sick from opioid withdrawal is they lose control of the nerves, controlling the organs. 1990, we knew that. There's no way OxyContin should have been approved. Not when the opioids are associated with the major malfunction in the nervous system. In everybody. These weren't isolated cases. These were everybody. Everybody got it. Everybody got it. There wasn't a risk of getting it. There was a guarantee of getting it. And yet this science was ignored. And 5 million people are dead because this science was ignored. And I'd hope to get the letter off to the Attorney General today recommending criminal negligence for the 3 people at the FDA we consider most responsible, although the single most responsible is Dr. Rigoberto Roca. Now, we presented our science to Dr. Rigoberto Roca back in all the way dating back to September of 2022. Coming up on 3 years. We've had a few dialogues with Dr. Rigoberto Roca. And he just refuses to recognize. He just refuses to recognize the reality. He's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's drinking the Kool-Aid. And he's arrogant. He's arrogant because he won't even, he's not even open to the possibility that he's wrong. And that's arrogance. Don't get me going. I could just keep going on and on and on. And I try to keep these podcasts down to just a few minutes so that we respect your time. Making good progress on the book. And the further I get into the book, I will finish this book in July. The further I get into the book, the more that I realize referring this whole crew for criminal negligence is the right thing to do. There's a number of things we need to do. We need to refer this crew for criminal negligence, and we need to get the first of the mass tort lawsuits filed, which means people have got to get the DNA work done. It's too expensive for people to pay for themselves. We tried that route. It's just too much money. It's a couple $100. So we hope to write the book, sell a bunch of copies of the book, and raise enough money selling the book to get the first mass tort lawsuits filed. Okay, because the courts can't ignore us. The FDA has, the CDC has. Okay, they've seen our science and they've chosen to ignore us. That was their choice. Okay, but the courts cannot ignore us. It's just not that way. So we'll go through the court system. Anyway, hey everybody, we're going into a holiday. Alex, I hope you're doing a big barbecue. I know, Alex, you got a lot going on in your life, but Alex, we're very thankful that you're here every day. This podcast would not happen without you. Everybody have a great weekend. We will be back Monday at 2:30. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media and everybody else's social media. We got to get the word out there because there's nobody else but us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alex.